Atlantic salmon are sort of the canary in the coal mine, you know, for our rivers. I mean, they're the ones that they travel the farthest when they get out in the ocean. And then they come back and they travel the farthest to go to the very headwaters of their streams. And so they are really the fish that have defined our rivers and are very resilient fish. And we still have them here. You know, we still have them in the United States.
People talking, sharing, feeling soon. The clock is ticking, swaying to and fro. Smoke is rising from this killing floor.
It's an eaten, be eaten world out there in the wild. What's happened the last decade or so, scientists are finding that wild Atlantic salmon are not surviving in the ocean in the same numbers they used to.
You show me a river with a dam on it, and I'll show you a river that hasn't got a salmon run.
It's true, I had the visions of you. Hope you do too.
Maine is the only place that has Atlantic salmon in the United States, wild reproducing Atlantic salmon. So it is the last stronghold for a species in the United States.
When the salmon populations were at their height, when they were at the pinnacle, and it was just mind-blowing to when the Europeans came here, that was when the forest was completely intact.
We talk about it in terms of the circle of life and repairing this hoop, this circle, this cycle that's been broken by the Industrial Revolution.
Well, then I hope you do too. Hope you do too.
It's a long, hard battle. You know, it's easy to mess something up. It's hard to put it back together.
Over the course of the last century, an icon of the cleanliness and purity of our North American wilderness has all but disappeared from many of the rivers in which it once thrived. The Atlantic salmon still defies full understanding, and yet has held the imagination of anglers, scientists, and whole cultures for eons.
When this river was initially dammed, it had a tremendous negative impact on the salmon runs.
It stunk. The river stunk. Been a kid growing up on this river. You know, it stunk. But I think these fish, whether it be a salmon or a trout, he can swim around pollution, but he could not swim around these dams. There was no way those fish could get up over there.
Nowhere in the world is there an Atlantic salmon, self-sustaining Atlantic salmon run above 3 dams. So, you know, at some point you have to address the root of the problem. It has to be accountability.
Look into my eyes, do they tell you how I feel? Look and they'll reveal a side of you exposed, a side that no one knows.
The Atlantic Salmon Federation in the early 80s did an economic study that showed that a commercially caught Atlantic salmon was worth about $2.50 a pound, whereas a salmon that was caught on the Miramichi by an angler or on the Grand Cascapedia by an angler was actually worth about $2,000 to the local economy, so it was big.
Without Atlantic salmon, the world would be terribly impoverished, and the vast majority of people wouldn't know it, which is the problem with conservation. Most people don't know this stuff's here. Everybody, it's sort of fashionable to go, yeah, we should save the environment, but then nobody really does much to do that. I mean, you know, you recycle, maybe you get a Prius, maybe I don't know, you do a few things, you go through the motions because it's fashionable.
All you need is one dam. And we're going to have the worst culprit of all going to be in charge of this whole thing. That's the Milford Dam. That was the original bottleneck, and it's going to come back and haunt us. But I don't, my age, I don't expect to see salmon fishing again in this river.
I don't wanna lie, but it's hard to stand the truth. If you knew what I do, you wouldn't brag so loud, you wouldn't stand so proud.
The public needs to care, and it can't be the fishermen, and it can't be the outdoorsmen alone or the conservationists alone. It needs to be everyone.
One day gonna let your water rush over me. Stand naked in your storm again.
Started fishing for the salmon here in '72. Being an Orono lad growing up, the biggest thing I'd ever caught in my life was a 10.5 inch brook trout. You know, the first one in there I caught weighed 10.5 pounds. Needless to say, I never looked back.
Tried and I'm trying till the end to be the finest friend you've ever known, even though you took away my soul time and time again.
Nothing fights like an Atlantic salmon. You can actually watch him come up, take the fly, turn with it, and go. You know, and go. And you just pray that he's going to slow down sometime and maybe turn him around and come back.
'Cause nothing's easy, baby, and nothing comes for free. Not even me. I guess that's how it goes, time and time again.
Oh yeah, for the sport of it, there's nothing better. It's the most relaxing, and it's a sport that a guy can do till he's up in years. Who would be out here at my age if he didn't enjoy it?
Turn it off, baby.
Jim and I are on our way up here, and he's, like he said, I don't expect to catch Atlantic salmon. And I didn't expect anything. I'm coming for something I've never done. I had 3 flies for this trip. Jim had like 400. He had like bags. He had bags of flies, plus literally 8 tubs of fly tying material, plus he went through my office and just dumped every drawer I had into a bin. So that tells me these fish are hard to catch.
Burn it.
When a fish finally hits, your first thought is, holy shit, I hooked a fish.
Deep inside, hands from the fire, shooting you from the right. Give me warm and deep inside, shoot straight to hell, take your soul for a dive.
Trout, you know, I've spent plenty of time not catching trout too, but I don't know, you can catch a trout eventually. You go someplace with it, there's fish and the season's right and everything, you'll catch some. But salmon, boy, you can go home skunked. Everybody does it.
Feel them now? Ah! Okay, sit back. Just pull in your line and stand there. Do you smoke?
Fishing was so hot that my license caught on fire.
There you go. Ah! That time he grabbed it though, eh?
Beat up Chevy wagon, beat them darkness on the road. No, that's nation, no desperation, night to night, no heaven before. Living out promotion, back there with a potion, come town
if you're the kind of person who most enjoys catching panfish all day, this probably won't be the sport for you. But if you want every fish to be a memorable one, I think Atlantic salmon are the best way to, in freshwater, find that.
Now I know why everyone comes for Atlantic salmon. I know why everyone's trying to protect this fish. And this was only a 16-pound fish.
He's the best of the best. If you get the guy, you know, the 15-pounder in the 20th of June with sea lice, you know, you go to the grocery store and you brag about it. And everybody up and down the street talks about that bright fish, you know. Yeah, they're a little special, them ones.
Too many times we're diverted by where we've been or where we're going, and we don't see what's happening right now. That's a secret.
It's true.